This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason Glick. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, John. Yourself?
Not too bad. What do you have on store for us tonight?
Well, as promised, this is the Best of 2015 podcast.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's like I read a lot of great comics over the past year, and actually, trying to sort them all out in my head. It's like it was actually it was kind of tough. There was some stuff that I thought was going to make top 10, didn't quite pull it off. And I gotta admit, last year for the best of 2014, I said, hey, I fully expected this year to be the coronation, of Blade of the Immortal. It's the best of the year because it's one of my favorite all-time favorite series, and it was ending. It's like, so how could I not acknowledge it as best of the year? Well, I guess you're going to keep listening to find out where it turned up on. It's like on the best of list. But let's get this show on the road. So number 10 is The Private Eye by Brian Vaughan and Marcos Martin. Now, I'm recording this on Saturday night, so chances are, so I haven't actually written my review of it, but it's a very interesting look at a possible future where all of our secrets that we placed on the internet just become public knowledge. It's like, and people have to live in a world without the internet. The press is now like the chief police force, and paparazzi are kind of like renegade private investigators. Vaughan and Martin created a very interesting world filled with memorable characters, from its main protagonist, P.I. Patrick Illman, to his addled granddad, who is basically the sole survivor of the Facebook generation. It's like grown into old age, tats and all. It's like there's a lot great dialogue. It's like great art. It's like and a compelling world. Even if there's some bits about the world that don't quite seem plausible or believable, but that's why it's 10. That's why it's only number 10 on this list. Okay, moving up to number 9 is Nimona. Now, you'll be hearing more about this in 2 weeks with my next podcast, when I try to detail all the stuff that I said. Hey, all this stuff is making the best of lists for a lot of other sites. I should order all this stuff because I figured, hey, I don't want to be left behind and all. Out of all the books I picked up on that little binge right there, Nimona was the only one that really got to me. It's a webcomic by Noelle Stevenson, co-writer and artist of Lumberjanes. It's about this shape-shifting girl named Nimona who hooks up with this evil villain named Ballister Blackheart in this fantasy-esque world that also has lots of modern bits of technology as well. It's why does this fantasy world have lots of modern technology? Don't sweat the details. Just enjoy the story that basically starts off as a classic, as an irreverent fairy tale, and then goes into much darker but no less compelling territory. It shows us that the good. Sometimes the bad guys aren't entirely bad. The good guys have their deep flaws as well, and the people in power really don't have our best interests at heart. At the heart of it all, though, is the title character. She was a fun, whimsical. Slightly scary character who was very worthy of having a book titled after her. So good times right there. Okay, number 8 is Gundam: The Origin. Now, if you read my most recent post on the on the site, you'll know that I'll be having a podcast on this later in this year once certain schedules are aligned. But I also said that this is a series that had lots of great moments surrounded by stuff that isn't quite as interesting. Well, for me though, this isn't a vote so much for the series as a whole as it is for Volume 10, Solomon, which is the spotlight for one of the ostensible villains of the series, Dozla Zabi. Now, House Zabi are the heads are running the Xeon Xeon Federation. They're essentially the bad guys of the story. Dozla, he's the member of the family who just doesn't get the big picture. He's the kind of guy who who believes in the beauty of the strong, that might makes right, that that you have to have numbers in order to win. Well, Solomon is a story of Dozla being hung out to dry by his family for the greater good of the war. It's like while Gira, leader of House Zabi, sees the fact that if the Federation can take out Solomon, they'll commit their forces to a final strike against the Republic. But unfortunately, that means his brother has to die. Girin, complete bastard, is cool with that. Dozla knows that something is not right here, but he just can't. But he just can't figure out exactly what it is. So it's really a tragedy of someone, like, generally a decent guy who's a good husband, a good father. It's pushed up against the limits of what he can comprehend, and ultimately paying the ultimate price for it. He's someone who's not able to move beyond who he is in order to save his life. And mangaka Yoshikazu Yasuhiko really nails that home in Solomon. Well, the saga of Voltsu Gundam, the origin, is more or less about the battle between the Federation and Zeon. And also the micro conflict between Amuro and Char. It was Dozla's story here in Solomon that really got to me more than anything else. So moving on to number 7 is Big Man Plans. This was a miniseries released through Image with art by Eric Powell and was written by Eric Powell and his buddy Tim Weish. You'll hear more about this in a bit, but I was kind of on the fence about Powell's future in light of what's going on with the Goon right now. So I was hoping that Big Man Plans would give me a reason to keep following him after his signature series was finished. Holy crap! Did it give me a good reason? Because this is basically Big Man Plans is basically the best film that Peter Dinklage and Rob Zombie have yet to make together. It's a 70 set tale of revenge as a short man who's basically been beaten down by everyone he's come across. It's from school to the army to just living in the streets. He finally gets word of one of the few people in life who actually gave a damn for him has died. Now he's out to get revenge. This is a bracing, brutal story that shows us that even though here's a guy who's been given heartfelt advice, the kind of uplifting stuff you expect from your conventional Hollywood movie, but he's someone who's just been so warped by life that he just turns it into just brutal, gory, unspeakable revenge. Over the course of the story. It's not for everyone, but it's a bracing tale of of revenge and of someone marginalized by society, lashing out in the way he best knows how. So yeah, I will be following Powell. Afterwards when he whatever he does next. This, however, wasn't the best thing I read from Image this year. That would be the Autumn Lands, the new series from Kurt Busiek and artist Benjamin Dewey. This is a series. It's a series about a world full of talking animals and magic, where the magic is slowly dying out, and then a plan is concocted in order to bring back the great champion who brought magic into their world in the first place. Well, things go badly when this hero is summoned, and not only does a magic city wind up falling from the sky, but it turns out that the great champion they summoned is a grunt from a science fiction war universe. So you've got this guy trying to survive, trying to navigate in this world full of magical talking animals. But it's played completely straight and done with fantastic world building from Busiek, and also some incredible art from Dewey. It's a great it's a great fully realized world that I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of. It's like as the series continues its second arc, being serialized right now. Um, it's like it's not selling all that well, so hopefully, um, so I'm letting you know, everyone, that I guess out of everything here, this is the one that you probably should go out and buy if you want to read more, because it is fantastic. And I would love to see Busiek and Dewey continue the story to its natural end. So, moving up to number 5, well, this is a series that kind of came to me right a little bit out of nowhere, in the sense that it was a quirky little vertical series. I thought, well, it's like, I'm not sure if this will be any good, but I'll give it a shot. And I was rewarded with something that displayed endless creativity and invention. It's like, of the 5 volumes that I've read so far this year, that would be My Neighbor Seki. It's a story. It's a simple story. In fact, like, it doesn't even have an ongoing story. It's a simple concept. It's basically about this girl, Yokoi, who has to deal with the crazy ass stunts that the boy who sits next to her in class, Seki, does over the course. It's like while in school. It's like, whether it's like it's doing go matches of shogi, where it's like you've got all the pawns playing out some sort of epic 300 style battle. It's like the robot family that he keeps bringing back time and time again, setting up fireworks, creating like a sand traps and all, crazy weird stuff. But the thing is, what makes it great though is that there's an endless variety to not only the setups Seki engages in, but also Yokoi's reaction. Because like a lesser talent would just have this series involve like Yokoi just being beaten down, or just saying, oh yeah, it's like Seki's a great student, why are you bugging him all the time? And yeah, there are a couple times where that happens, but more often than not, like, something else happens. Either like Seki's like attempts to goof off just backfire on him, or Yokoi winds up getting the better of him in a couple occasions, or we'll just get another story where it's like where a girl who sits behind them winds up keeps fantasizing about their romantic love life. It's a very creative and inventive series that never ceases to surprise me with the volumes it's delivered so far. It's like, yes, it's a one-note series. I mean, it's just what crazy thing is Seki going to do, and how is Yokoi going to respond to it? But its creator, it's like, has Takuma Morishige, has managed to display like a real impressive amount of creativity in showing you what's going to happen in that, like within that setup. More impressive though, is Kore Yamazaki's The Ancient Magus' Bride, my choice number 4 on the list. It's a story that has a problematic premise, in the sense that it's about an ancient magus with a cow skull for a head, named Elias, who purchases a girl who's named Chise, who's also a magical being known as a Sleighbeggy, someone who can absorb and generate prodigious amounts of magic. Of course, while he's not only has he bought her in order to study her abilities, but he's also wants her to be his wife as well. That's kind of creepy and all sorts of wrong. But at the same time, Elias is like still managed to be a fairly real gentleman about all this. And Chise, it's like, well, it's like, it's scary as it may be, this is like the most warmth and care she's been shown by someone else in her life. That's not a good justification and all, but at the same time, like, that's Yamazaki acknowledges this in the text, and even though it's clear that she wants them to get together by the end of the series, she understands that there is a lot of work to be done here, and she manages to work that into the story, into the narrative, while also telling lots of interesting stories about Chise going to visit ancient dragons, dealing with the church grim, and taking and winding up in the crosshairs of being a magical person who may or may not be the wandering Jew of legend. So it's a fascinating and inventive series that shows you lots of interesting stuff that deals with mythology in a new and fresh way. It's while also just taking on its problematic premise and just wrangling it into something that that actually works. It's been a ton of fun. And I'm constantly looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. In this series, even though it's still a relatively new one in Japan, so it's going to take a while for new volumes to come out. It's currently on a semesterly release basis from Seven Seas. All right, moving up. See, number 3 is Daredevil, specifically by Mark Waid and Chris Samnee. This has been one of the most satisfying superhero titles I have read in recent years, and it wrapped up in spectacular fashion, as you'll recall from my podcast a couple weeks back. It's Waid decided not to go in the same grim and gritty style that has defined Daredevil for decades. And he wound up finding lots of interesting stories to tell about Matt Murdock, while while embracing a more lighthearted tone, and that just made it all the more interesting. So when bad things started to happen to Murdock, and he was also joined in fairly early on by Chris Samnee, who provided great art that really complemented the style that Waid was working in. It's hard to say this is a superhero story that everyone would like, but really Waid and Samnee's Daredevil is something that I do think is worth reading, even if you're not a general superhero fan. It's also a great complete story that, hey, if you don't want to read any more Daredevil stories afterwards, well, yeah, you've got this one by two fantastic creators and a whole lot of very capable artists as well. Now, moving up to number 2 on the list, Blade of the Immortal. Yes, this it's what can I say about the series I didn't say last time? It's basically it stuck the landing. It's something I've been reading, and obsessing about for a good portion of my adult life, and in the end it delivered. And it also delivered a thoroughly enjoyable rereading experience. When I had to go back and went back and read all 31 volumes from Dark Horse. It's a fantastic series that I recommend to everyone. And if you haven't bought it yet, well, Dark Horse is putting out the Omnibuy starting next year. So whatever form you read it in, it's highly recommended. And it still ranks as one of my all-time favorites. But what, do you ask? What could possibly be better than Blade of the Immortal? Well, the one real issue I had with Blade of the Immortal's ending is that it didn't really get me to think about the series. It didn't cause me to rethink anything about the series, and it didn't show me anything. Show us what had Manji learned about after going through this whole experience as bodyguard for Rin. It's as he's winds up in this same kind of position again. Well, then there was, however, a series that basically not really a new volume, the next volume in the long running series, but kind of a prequel that managed the incredibly tricky job of telling a compelling story on its own terms. It also getting me to think about events in the series in a new light. So that was an impressive achievement, and it featured, bar none, the most impressive art of any graphic novel that I've read, that I've seen this year. That would be The Sandman Overture by Neil Gaiman and J.H. Williams III. It's a story of the conflict that Morpheus was involved in that caused it to be captured at the beginning of The Sandman. It's a story that Gaiman has wanted to tell during the course of the run, but never found the time for. And now that he has, it turned out to be a more than worthy addition to the series. It's like it gets you to think about. It explains a lot of it's like a lot of little things about the series and never gets bogged down in it. So it's like if you've read the series, it's like this is kind of the story that after you've read it, you'll want to go and reread the entire series again because just to see how it affects things, and it does so in a good way, something that it enriches and builds on. It's like what has come before. It's like I mean, a lot of people I know were scared about whether or not Gaiman could deliver after being away from his signature creation for so long. But hey, he proved that not only could you go home again, so you go home again. It's like in style, and it was style afforded by J.H. Williams, who took out all the artistic stops and delivered a series. A visual feast that jumped styles multiple times, even in the course of an issue. It's like, and even though it's clear that his ambition was just one reason why the series took so long to come out, it was absolutely worth it in the end. It's a fantastic effort by Gaiman and Williams, and even though it's we don't need any more Sandman stories. It's like I would definitely read more by. It's like if Gaiman has them. Well, actually, I do kind of want to know why. What's the deal with the first Despair who was killed? So it's like I'd love to read that, Neil. But hey, it's like I can wait another 20 years. That's how long it's going to take. So there you go. That was the top 10. A couple honorable mentions like Loki, Agent of Asgard, which managed the really difficult trick of one writer, Al Ewing, following up on another writer, Kieron Gillen's take on the character. It's like in impressive style. Trashed by Durf Backdurf, who managed a really interesting follow up. It's like to a former best of the year pick, My Friend Dahmer, about America's obsession with all the trash America produces and the people who have to deal with it. Injection by Warren Ellis and Declan Shalvey showed that after years of kind of real hit or miss stuff that even when the stuff hit, it wasn't quite in his best. It's like in the best that he's done. Shows you that hey, Ellis looks like he's finally got back on the horse and is delivering like lots of a really interesting story here again. Also, One Punch Man by One and Yusuke Murata. A series that acts as a brilliant tonic to the overall shonen fight scenes that have defined the shonen genre, about a guy superhero who attained ultimate power and can defeat any villain with one punch. That still managed to be like a pretty interesting superhero story. It's like in and of itself. It's like. And also Kieron Gillen's Darth Vader series, which is the best of the Star Wars crop from Marvel, so he manages the really difficult trick of basically showing Darth Vader in a weakened state, in a weakened position politically and personally, but not we're not weakened as a character. So it's a really really tricky balance to pull off, and he managed to do it. Also, I was kind of hoping to discuss Jonathan Hickman's run on Avengers here, but as most people know, Secret Wars ran very late, and so we're only in issue 9 finally came out this past week. I heard it's supposed to be great, so I'm very much looking forward to reading it, but I still want to acknowledge the good work that he did for Time Runs Out, the 4-volume cycle that set up Secret Wars and showed the Avengers fractured in infighting. I'm trying to stop put a stop to the incursions, but failing in the end. It's like, dude, it's like because they just couldn't find a way to work together. Well, I guess best of 2015 wouldn't be complete without the worst of 2015. So we've got I gotta guess I gotta give it to Bendis' X-Men, which even though I liked his versus Shield story here and One Down, the most recent volumes, like the Ultimate Adventure and the Omega Mutant, kind of show that he's kind of gone off the rails here, and that it's like he's then that his big story of Cyclops being Cyclops having a breakdown and not and basically not pulling things off as leader, because hey, it's like why has his mutant revolution failed? Because he didn't have an idea what the mutant revolution was going to be. That's a great hook to build a story on. Um, Better example would be Simon Spurrier's X Force, which had Cable going off the rails as he ran his latest iteration of the team. Go read that instead of Bendis's work here. And while I very much liked Big Man Plans, The Goon, Occasion of Revenge, kind of this had Powell's signature series going off the rails into into turgid drama. It's like as it really forgets hey, this is originally a series that I enjoyed because it was funny, and while even though it got increasingly more dramatic, it never quite forgot to be funny. Well, here it really finally does, and it also manages to be and the drama managed to be just overwrought and uninteresting as well. Um, then you've got Abe Sapien, which it's like I like a lot of the Magnolaverse stuff, but Abe just does not click for me. It's like it's like his direction and the writing just don't have a lot of focus. And the art, while I like Sebastian Fiumara, his brother Max doesn't never been quite my style. So disappointing, but I continue keep reading because it's part of the ongoing narrative of the Magnolaverse. Then you've also got Low from Rick Remender and Greg Tocchini, who it's kind of like everything I don't like about Remender's style. While the book is beautiful, it's basically about a woman an eternal optimist who winds up constantly being disappointed and shown that the world is out. It's like is much worse than she imagines. Rick Remender said he wanted to finally write an optimistic character in his opening, but he just delivers the narrative equivalent of kicking a puppy over and over and over again, because the more nice people suffer, the more you care, right? Wrong. Oh, and also it's worth noting that while I liked Kieran Gillen's run on Iron Man, the new Superior Iron Man story by Tom Taylor was a complete waste of my time, and even though I got the hardcover for half off at Comic-Con, I still paid way too much for it. Thoroughly disappointing, and I'm glad that it's being wiped. The slate is being wiped clean thanks to courtesy of Secret Wars. But as far as the absolute worst of the year goes, well, that goes to like a comic that I read and immediately put on the shelf to be sold to Book Off or some other place in the future. That would be Freezing, which, as some people may recall from my story, my post about my quest for great trash. It's about women. It's like women with superpowers who require the aid of men in order to focus them. It's like then it's like fighting against an alien menace, but also let me rephrase that: big-breasted women fighting against an alien menace and having their clothes keep getting ripped up. It's like over the course of the run. It's like it's trash, but I was expecting something at least entertainingly awful, at least some kind of general incompetence that would make you laugh, like say Terraformars. No, it's a freezing fail on every conceivable level. Bland art, boring characters, generic story. It's like, and it's like it even fails fan service. It's like because even then even though the women just want being they get their clothes ripped up a whole lot. It's like you never get to see anything. So it fails even as fan service as well. So basically it's they're trying to tell a decent story, but the creators just failed. It's like in every possible way. And looking at it, like I realized that even though I paid full price for it, I have no problem just getting it out of my library and just only getting a few bucks back for it, courtesy of Book Off. It's total ass and should be avoided at all costs. If you have a shred of decency or actually like reading entertaining comics. So there you go. Let's see. That was 2015. That was the best and worst of 2015 for me. So I'm got plenty of stuff to look forward to next year. Aside like we got I Am a Hero from Dark Horse, which hopefully will sell really well and prove that there's life for their life in their in their manga publishing line. Like as I mentioned, the publication of Secret Wars at last. And also like lots of plenty of other crazy shenanigans from Marvel and DC. But still, hopefully this will be another year where Image continues to show everyone like this is the way forward. Hopefully they'll continue to increase their market share, because God knows that Marvel and DC aren't doing a whole lot to keep the market healthy and all. Still, that was the year. That was the year for me. So, John, any thoughts on your end?
Oh no, it was a good year. But no other really thoughts from me. Do you know what you're going to be talking about next time on the show?
Next time, it's going to be about all the stuff that I bought, like Nimona, to see about what, like all the good stuff I heard. That hey, this would be a book of the year candidate. So I bought a bunch of stuff to see if that was the case. Well, Nimona made it, but what about all the other stuff?
Good question. Good question. So I guess we'll have to find out next time on Comic Picks by the Glick, right?
That's right.
All right, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, laters.
Bye.